All right, so we're diving deep today into a poetic and romantic contemplation on the meaning of spirituality from the spiritual seek, the spiritual seek with all those wild
Yeah,
quizzes.
yeah. Are you a true spiritual seeker? That kind of thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And this article, it really takes a different look at what spirituality even is.
Oh, interesting. The title itself is kind of interesting, right? Poetic and romantic. It makes you think it's going to be pretty personal and imaginative, maybe.
Yeah. And it just jumps right in. It says spirituality, it's not like, looking for answers or following a path. It's more like remembering what we've always known.
Huh. What do you think about that?
No, what do you think about that?
It's powerful, you know? It's like whatever it is we're looking for, it's not out there. It's like it's already inside us. Like in ancient Greece they had this idea anamnesis. Learning is like remembering.
Whoa, I never thought of it that way. So instead of like searching for something new, we're like uncovering something, I don't know, old that's like already in us.
Yeah. Exactly. And the article, it has this image, this infinite mirror reflecting our essence. Like there's this huge depth to us, like we're waiting to be explored. What does that make you think of?
Well, I guess it makes me think like, wow, there's so much inside each of us,
Yeah.
but also that we have to actually, go in there and do the work to find out who we really are.
Yeah, I like that. And, it leads right into what the article says next. It's this illusion of separation. Like, we're taught to think we're separate people, right? Separate from the world, but it says that's just an illusion.
Oh yeah, there's that line. We are not separate from the universe. We are the universe experiencing itself. I don't know, that line really got to me.
Yeah, it makes you think about, like, how we're all connected, right?
Yeah.
Everything, the air we breathe, like the
Right.
water we drink, it all connects us.
Yeah, it's like all those boundaries we put up between ourselves and like everyone else in the world, it makes you realize how fake they are. And speaking of boundaries, the article, it goes into this whole thing about duality's dance, like light and dark, joy and sorrow.
And it's saying, instead of thinking of that as a problem, we should embrace it. That's what makes life, interesting.
Yeah. What do you think people like resist that? Like when they're trying to, I don't know, be more spiritual?
Yeah, that's a good question. A lot of times, I think people do. Like, we only want the good stuff, but the article's saying it's that back and forth, between the opposites that actually makes life, well, life.
Like if you only had one color in a painting, it's the light and dark that make it interesting. The article says, duality isn't a problem to solve, but a mystery to embrace. I don't know, how have you kind of thought about that in your own life? Embracing duality, I mean.
Oh, well, I think the hardest part, maybe, is accepting that, like, good and bad, light and dark, it's all inside of us. We try to, like, push the bad stuff away onto other people. But if you really want to, grow, I think you have to face those parts of yourself. It's not about pretending they're not there.
Yeah, it's about, I guess, seeing the whole picture. Like being whole doesn't mean being perfect. And that makes me think of the next part, the stillness within. That sounds pretty peaceful.
Yeah, it's like this pure awareness, when your mind gets quiet. Like the article says, it's not something you do, it's something you become.
That makes me think of meditation, like quieting your mind so you can just be.
Right. But it's not just about meditating. It's more like, being aware of everything all the time.
So it's like taking that feeling you get when you're meditating and bringing it into, I don't know, washing the dishes or talking to someone.
Exactly. It's about shifting from like doing to being, like stepping back from all the thoughts in your head and just watching them without judging them.
The article calls it going from being the doer to being the witness. That's a big difference.
It is. And from that stillness, the article says you can really hear compassion's call. Like you start to see how connected we all are. It's not just a feeling. It's like you understand that someone else's pain is your pain.
Wow. That's deep. I mean, it's not just about like feeling sorry for someone. It's about like really understanding that we're all in this together.
Yeah, exactly. The article says compassion is the bridge that connects the individual to the collective. What do you think about that?
It's like it's a call to action. If we really get that we're all connected, then compassion isn't just something nice. It's how we live, like how we treat each other, how we make the world better.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that saying, right? Love your neighbor as yourself. It means something totally different now, like after reading this. But I don't know, how do we actually get to that compassion? Like, can you just decide to be compassionate or does it like happen to you?
Well, a lot of spiritual traditions, they ask that same question. Some people say, yeah, compassion is just like part of us, and you can like train it
Hmm.
with meditation or what's it called, loving kindness, stuff like that. But other people say it only comes when you wake up, spiritually speaking. Like then it just flows out of you. You can't help it.
So it's like you got to stop seeing it as me and them and start seeing it as like we're all in this together, which it makes me think of the next thing in the article, the eternal now. It's saying that time, like how we usually think about it, is also an illusion.
Hmm.
So like past, present, future, it's all happening at once.
Yeah, I know, right? It's kind of hard to wrap your head around. But when you think about how we're not really separate from the universe, then time just kind of stops making sense the way we normally think about it. The past is just a memory. The future is what? A guess. And really, the only thing that's real is right now, this moment. That's the eternal now.
So we should be like focusing on now, like not worrying about the past or, stressing about the future.
Yeah, that's the idea. But it doesn't mean like forgetting your responsibilities or anything. It just means like really being here now without like judging it or getting distracted. This moment right now, that's all we really have, right?
I could see how that would be amazing, but also really hard. I mean, my mind is always like jumping around. Got any tips for, how to actually be in the present moment?
Well, mindfulness, like meditating, even just like focusing on your breath, that can help a lot. When you notice your mind is off somewhere else, just bring it back gently.
Like training a puppy.
Exactly. You got to keep bringing it back again and again. And just like with a puppy, the more you do it, the easier it gets.
So the article calls this eternal now thing the gateway to the infinite. What do you think they mean by that?
I think it's about, what happens when you let go of time. Like when you're really in the moment, you connect to something bigger than yourself and anything feels possible.
That's amazing. And it makes me think back to the compassion thing because the article it keeps saying how important that is to this whole journey. And again, it's not just a feeling, it's like an expression of how connected we all are.
Right. It says compassion is the bridge that connects the individual to the collective. So someone else's pain is your pain and their joy is yours too. It's like really getting that we're all the same deep down.
Yeah, it's like there, but for the grace of God go I. When you can see yourself in someone else, that's when you really start to care.
And from that place, from that caring, that's how we can start to heal. Like all the things that divide us, we can build a better world, more fair, more loving. But it starts with realizing that we're all connected. We're all one family.
Yeah.
Humanity, right?
And it's not just some like theory. It's about how we actually live,
Yeah.
how we treat each other, what we put out into the world.
Totally. And it all comes back to, remembering who we really are. Like we have so much potential and we're connected to everything. It's a pretty amazing message.
Yeah. It's like the article is giving us permission to just be ourselves, like our full selves,
Yeah.
and be connected and live with more, purpose. Speaking of remembering, the article mentions that quiz, the Are You a True Spiritual Seeker quiz from the Spiritual Seek.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. It's at the end, right? They give you all these statements and you have to pick the ones that, speak to you.
Right. It's like a fun way to think about the article and how it relates to you personally, I mean.
Yeah. Because it's not just about the words, it's about how they make you feel and what you're going to do about it.
It's about taking all these ideas and like making them real.
Putting them into practice in your own life, on your own path.
It's like a little reminder to actually like do something with this stuff, not just think about it.
Yeah.
So what really stood out to you, like the biggest thing you'll take away from this whole article?
I think for me, it's that idea that this is a journey. Like it never really ends. It's not about, getting to some finish line or like becoming enlightened. It's about always growing, understanding yourself better and the universe, always changing.
Yeah, it's like that image they use, the river of life.
Ah.
We're all on it, right? And there's going to be rough parts and smooth parts, happy times, sad times. But we can, like, choose which way to go, learn as we go.
Yeah, and we don't have to do it alone, right? Like, the article reminds us we're all connected. We can help each other, share our experiences, and, be there for each other.
It's like we're all in the same boat,
Huh.
trying to get to the same place,
Yeah.
even though our trips might look different. I don't know, this whole deep dive has really changed how I think about spirituality. It's not about like running away from the world or trying to be perfect. It's about like really living with
Yeah.
everything that comes with it.
And it's about remembering, that we already have the answers inside us, remembering who we really are.
Yeah, and the way they wrote it, it's like poetry. It makes you really feel it. It's not just like information.
It's like they planted some seeds,
Yeah.
and now it's up to us to, like, see what grows.
And I think that's a great place to end our deep dive into a poetic and romantic contemplation on the meaning of spirituality. It's been really, I don't know, it's been great.
Yeah, me too. Thanks for listening, everybody, and keep exploring.
Yeah.